In section 4 of our quadratic unit here, we're going to look at vertex form, which is another form for a quadratic equation. In section 1, we looked at standard form and how to graph when they were in standard form. Now we'll look at vertex form. So let's focus in, actually, let's give you a couple things that are on your blue sheet here. Let's tell you what standard form, vertex form is. Vertex form of a quadratic is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And again, this is on your blue reference sheet. This a that's out in front, or is going to be what's in front of the parentheses, is the same as a is in y equals ax squared plus bx plus c form. Okay? And that's going to determine the direction of opening when we get to some of the key features here. All right? And hk, so h comma k, so whatever this is and whatever this is called the vertex. Okay, so the vertex is hk. So let's look at number 1 here. We're identifying some key parts, and let's zoom in a little bit on number 1 here. We need to identify these things: the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the direction of opening, and then sketch the graph, and we'll make a little table for that. So my vertex is going to be, now in the formula was x minus h, so if you remember it was y equals x, or a times x minus h squared plus k. So we look inside here and it's whatever that number is, so it's 5 for the x value of the vertex, and then the y value of the vertex is k, or whatever's after, so that's negative 2. So my vertex is at 5, negative 2. My axis of symmetry equation, and please write it as an equation, is x equals 5, because the vertex has to be in the middle of the parabola, so it's always going to have the same value as this. Okay? The direction of opening is based on a. Now, a is what's in front of parentheses here, in front of the binomial squared. Now notice, in this particular problem, that's a negative 1, this sign right here. So a is negative 1, which means it opens down. Just like in section 1, when a was negative, it opened down. Okay, so let's draw in, let's start graphing, and then we'll get some more values to graph our parabola. So we're going to graph x equals 5, which is going to be the axis of symmetry. Okay, so there's the middle of my parabola. The vertex is at 5, negative 2, which is going to be right there. Okay, now to get some more values, I'm going to put my 5, negative 2 in there. I need to do some values less than 5, less than that to the left of 5, and some to the right of 5. So let's plug in 4. So here's what I have. I really have y equals negative 1 times 4 minus 5 inside parentheses squared, subtract 2. So this is going to be negative 1 in parentheses squared, which is positive 1. Now I need to multiply this negative 1 times that one, which is negative 1. And then I subtract 2, which will be negative 3. So at 4, it's at negative 3. Now let me tell you some unique things. There's some patterns that develop. So if I try the point 1 unit on the other side of the vertex, plug in 6, notice I'm just going to get a positive 1 inside there if I do 6 minus 5, and that's going to turn out to also be negative 3. So at 4, we're at negative 3, and at 6, we're at negative 3. Okay, and let's actually zoom in a little bit here. And then if I plug in 3, here's what I have. I have y equals negative 1 times 3 minus 5 squared, and then minus 2. So I get a negative 2 inside parentheses. I got to square that, which is 4. Multiply 4 by negative 1, which is negative 4. And then subtract 2, so that's negative 6. So when I put 3 in, I got negative 6, which also means when I put 7 in, I'm going to get negative 6. So let's zoom in here and graph those 2 points. At 3, we're going to be at negative 6, so I'm going to be right here. And at 6, I'm going to be at negative 6. So here's going to be the shape of my parabola that opens down. It's going to go like that. Whoops, I'm sorry. At 7, it's going to be at negative 6. So, and it's going to go just like that.